Yeah.
Love
All on
that
you,
sense of
Dean.
ownership. Love that sense of ownership. I met a nice gentleman yesterday named Ron who came into the store here, who had all kinds of pictures and videos of eagles from Bar Lake.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Ron Berg.
Berg, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy. We've done a lot of stuff for Bar Lake and Ron out there.
Oh, my. They have a plaque for Wild Birds Unlimited up in their nature center.
Burge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually etched in glass the Wild Birds Unlimited logo in their
really?
signage in the nature center out there in Bar Lake. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
As a thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Facebook friends. Welcome to Bird Talk. We'll get started in 1 minute after we give
on
you
this
the
Saturday,
weather.
mostly sunny, spectacular highs in the mid-70s. For tonight, partly cloudy, lows in the upper 40s. Big changes on the way for Sunday with partly sunny skies, a 40% chance for rain showers as a cold front pushes through,
So
gusty
which
winds up to
Facebook
40
page
miles
is
per
this?
hour. Highs in the upper 60s.
It should go on all of
Weather
them
brought to you by
simultaneously.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
If it's
now
working
with
right.
a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. I'm meteorologist Patrice Sutter on 710 KNUS.
Coming up on the program, I'll be on
you seeing
vacation
it on
this week,
Arvada?
but yes, the show will go on. We'll take your calls, texts, emails as we discuss news and issues of the day.
I can't
Lori
really
Kelman
test it
in
here
the
'cause I'm
newsroom, plus we'll
broadcasting
have
from this
traffic and
one.
weather throughout
So
the
let me,
program. Be
I'll
sure to
find it
follow
on
us
Denver.
on Facebook and Twitter, both at Tubbs Show. Hope you join us.
Stefan Tubbs, now at a new
Hey,
time,
guys, about
weekday
15
afternoons
seconds.
from 4 to 7 on News Talk 710 KNUS. Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded. The following program is paid for by Wild Birds Unlimited.
KNUS and its staff are not responsible for any of the views, opinions, fabrications, postulations, or outright falsehoods you may hear in the upcoming program. Nor is the station management, its parent company, stockholders, or their families, nor are the parents, siblings, spouses, children, relatives, friends, or enemies of David and Scott Menough. Well, maybe their enemies are responsible. Yeah, that's it. Anything they say that you don't like, you can blame on their enemies, whose names they will reveal on this show or one like this one sometime in the future. If there are any future shows, that is. They don't really have any enemies at this time, but they're planning to alienate enough people through the course of the next hour or so that they'll have enough enemies so that you'll have no trouble finding one to blame their indiscretions on. So sue them. Sheesh.
Bada boom, bada bing, your mic is hot.
Welcome to Bird Talk, your weekly fine-feathered feature that helps you get more birds more often for more fun. Now, here are your avian amigos, David and Scott Menough on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon.
and welcome to Bird Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Bird Talk Guys,
It's an
Scott,
echo.
Dean, and David. So you've got all three of us here, the three musketeers, Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Yeah.
And
Shemp.
No Shemp.
Oh.
Shemp is back at the studio. The lovely Shemp is answering your phone calls and letting us know who's on the line. So
Yeah.
anyway, lovely and talented Blake gets to be Shemp. Anyway, welcome, David.
Yeah.
You took a couple weeks off on us. We didn't know where you went.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've been out hanging out up at Arbor Anglers in Lafayette getting schooled on things like Euro nymphing,
Yeah.
different kinds of fly fishing. I mean, I've been keeping busy. I haven't been just
No.
sitting in the corner weeping or anything.
No,
Yeah.
but I would say that we can talk about that later, especially if, and this is a threat. We'll talk about Euro nymphing later if we don't get enough phone
Oh,
calls.
we'll
in.
get phone
Okay.
calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this day in history today, the what is this? This is the
22nd today.
22nd of October. What happened, Dean, in history?
Well, let me take you through it. And this is a little bit of the 22nd and the 23rd, just to try to mix it up a little bit. So in 1797, the first successful parachute jump was made by André-Jacques Jeannet, released from a balloon 2,200 feet above the Parc Monceau in Paris.
Wow.
He rode a gondola fixed to the lines of a 23-foot diameter parachute supported by a wooden pole and had 32 white canvas gores folded like a closed umbrella.
He probably needed a vent in the top of that.
That was the
didn't he?
problem.
Yeah.
He didn't have a vent in that first one, so the ride down was a little bit bumpy.
Uh-huh.
He had the first official case of air sickness.
You wouldn't want to be standing below him, would you?
No, you wouldn't. But he also didn't have one of those little bags that you have on airlines today. Which is a problem. So for the next jump, he figured that out. He put a hole in the top. Made his 5th jump on the 21st of September, 18/2 over London from a height of 3,000 feet. This was the first parachute descent made in England, and he landed near St. Pancras Church, which I think they specialize in pancreatitis. No.
It would be tough to be the first guy to test out a parachute. I mean, what would stimulate you to do that?
The thing is, there probably were many people before that tested it, but they didn't survive. So he was the only one who did it and survived to tell this tale about it. Right?
Jiminy Cricket used to do it with just an umbrella.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, piece of cake.
So did Mary Poppins.
That's right.
So 1907, the Panic of 1907, also known as the 1907 Bankers' Panic or Knickerbocker Crisis, not for knickerbockers, happened when the New York Stock Exchange fell almost 50% from its peak the previous year. It was triggered by a failed attempt in 1907 to corner the market on stock of the United Copper Company. And when that failed, the banks that lent the money, they suffered runs on the banks, and they were trying to pull their money out of that, leading to a downfall of the Knickerbocker Trust Company, which was New York City's 3rd largest trust at the time. It would have been worse if it weren't for J.P. Morgan, who pledged a bunch of money along with a bunch of his friends that he got in to this to kind of stem off the complete collapse. And then the following year, Senator Nelson Aldrich established and chaired a commission to investigate the crisis and figure out a better way to handle that, which ultimately led to the creation of what we know today as the Federal Reserve System.
That's why I just keep my money buried in a can in the backyard. All my coins.
Now,
I have tons of pennies.
Everyone knows that now.
Yeah, well, it's a heavy can. It's got a lot of pennies in it.
All 10 people listening.
Yeah.
And it's marked by a small green flag.
That's right. Yeah.
Remember
with a dollar sign on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
A cent sign.
Yeah.
Well, he put the cents over here and the dollars over there. He didn't want to mingle them.
Yeah.
1938, Chester F. Carlson and Otto Cornay succeed in electronically copying the message from a glass slide to a sheet of wax paper. Cornay wasn't impressed, though, so he left Carlson, and Carlson waited 10 years later to announce his discovery, and he approached IBM. They turned him down, and then in 1947 he sold the rights to the Haloid Company, which was later renamed to Xerox, who used the technology to create the Xerox 914 in 1959. So it took quite a while, 1938 to 1959, to commercialize that.
So how did they build in that thing that automatically makes you be out of ink when you have a big printing job?
Oh, yeah.
It was the same inventor who came up with the stapling machine, because it's the same problem, right?
Yeah.
It always runs out of staples.
That's right, yep.
By the way, at the time, obviously, the first plain paper copier was called the most successful product of all time. Probably doesn't hold that moniker today, but
No.
1968, the Apollo 7 safely...
I think it's actually the Thighmaster now.
How many Thighmasters do you own?
I don't need them.
Your thighs are sublime. I just needed to know.
Kathy's going to be jealous of you in about a minute. You better be careful.
Kill him with kindness. The Apollo 7 in 1968 splashed down successfully in the Atlantic Ocean after orbiting the Earth 163 times. You gotta think that they were a little woozy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Flight Commander Shira came down with a cold only 15 hours after launch. He passed it along to Cunningham and Eisel. And obviously, if you've got a cold in space, you don't have gravity to drain the fluids out of your sinuses, so it wasn't necessarily the funnest flight.
That's Wally Schirra.
Schirra?
Yes.
Okay.
See, we were alive when that happened.
You say potato, I say potato.
I butchered the French name earlier, so
I thought you did
correct
well
me.
with that.
I think you can call
Yeah,
me on
you
that
did.
one.
Mon
You
ami.
did well.
But just to let you know, on the return flight to Earth, Schirra said that they weren't going to wear their helmets on the descent, and so they got reprimanded after they landed because they were insubordinate and did not follow a direct order.
Yeah, he probably sneezed all over the face shield, couldn't see anymore.
Well, he was trying to clear his nostrils on the way down, which you could imagine. 1981, it took until 1974 to reach $500 billion in debt. That amount doubled in only 7 years to reach $1 trillion. And the current U.S. national debt stands at, anyone know?
20.
9 trillion.
31 trillion.
31 trillion.
Yes.
My brain doesn't go that big.
It's worse than I thought.
It's a big number, and if you go to the U.S. National Debt Clock, which is an interesting clock,
I've
it
got
shows all
one.
kinds of debts.
I've got one on my iPhone.
It's really cool.
It
So
is.
that's $94,000 per person, by
Yeah.
the way. So if you'd like to pay that to me, I'll make sure I get it to the government.
If it was $1 per second, you would pay it off in 31,000 years.
I would have to sell
Well,
all
that's
my.
for
I'd
that's
have
for 1 trillion.
I'd have to
Yeah.
sell all my
31,000
Hummels to be able to pay that off. Can't do that.
Yeah, you save at least one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
And then 2001, Apple announced the iPod. It was discontinued in May of 22. Apple sold 450 million iPods over its life. By comparison, Apple sold 2.2 billion iPhones since
If you'd
2007.
like to join us, 303-696-1971. You're listening to Scott, David, and Dean on Bird Talk. We'll be back after the break. 303-696-1971.
Mike's clear.
Got my iPhone this morning.
It's a black-capped chickadee.
Oh, it's nice.
All
You better get a
right.
case for that.
Got my Ultra last week.
Anyhow, I attract
I had to get a silicone case. That way I never drop it.
I have a. I actually modified my old case. I just had to cut it open here. But,
You
gotta get a new one. But I've got insurance, so I don't really care. It's amazing how they can transfer the data these days.
Yeah, it is.
just-
With that face-to-face.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Are sure to bring in the most
Or phone to
backyard
camera to
birds.
face.
For the best
Yeah.
chickadee attraction-
I don't
Yeah, it's
understand.
amazing.
You guys aren't seeing this on your pages either, right? It says that it's live, but I'm not seeing it anywhere.
I see it.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Where are you?
I'm at the Denver.
Denver?
No, I'm at the Bird Talk Guys website.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah. Bird Talk Guys Facebook. So, yeah.
There it is.
Very special visitor to
Yeah,
our
it's on
backyard.
Bird Talk Guys.
This small and fascinating bird is a welcome sight.
I have volume up.
Backyard
There we go.
across our region with his brilliant yellow
Yeah, this was supposed to
brightens our landscapes. While the
share
female
to a
is
bunch of
less
other pages, and it
colorful,
didn't.
both male and female
Well,
share
must
the
be. We've
same
got
songs.
people
They're
watching.
the only finches that change their plumage
Technical.
Have you
twice a
tried-
year.
Gidgy
I'm
boos.
Is
gonna,
it-
I'm
is
gonna
it-
re-add the pages, so I just re-added all three of them. So
Okay.
let's see if you can pull up our data again. I can't do it from here because I'm afraid I'll switch accounts.
Okay.
No waste finch blend in one of our lifetime guaranteed goldfinch feeders. This mix of Niger seed and fine sunflower chips goldfinches
We could
find
ask our
irresistible.
Facebook
The
friends
best
how
value
the
in bird feeding
audio
products
is.
That's
in the
true.
known universe.
We should ask them.
How is the audio,
Visit
Facebook
today.
friends?
The southeast corner of 88th and Wadsworth in Arvada, the southeast corner of Wadsworth and Yale in Denver, and the southwest corner of County Line
That's
and
not it.
University in Highlands Ranch.
Now, back to Bird Talk. News Talk 710.
Coming on back, fellas. Your mic is now hot.
Well, welcome back to Bird Talk. You are listening to Bird Talk, presented by the Wild Birds Unlimited stores in Arvada, Denver, and Highlands Ranch. So be sure to stop by those stores. Thank them for sponsoring Bird Talk. Now, there's another reason why you want to stop by those stores this weekend through a week from tomorrow. So through the following Sunday. What reason would that be, Dean? Dean is the owner of the three Wild Birds Unlimited stores, along with Tina, the dynamic duo of Denver Wild Birds Unlimited stores.
Right. We are the Batman and Robin, but
Which
we
is
both have
which?
capes, but I'm not sure which one is
Who
which.
gets to be Robin?
It depends on the weekend, I guess.
Yeah, alters week to week.
Depends on the weekend.
So what's
but-
going on at the stores?
Yeah, so we're having our October bird food sale going
Cool.
on until you said next week, Sunday the 30th. This is a great time to stock up on bird seed. It's the lowest prices you're ever going to get on seed throughout the year. And obviously, as always, Daily Savings Club members get an additional 5% off the sales price, which is always fun. And just last week, we started in all the stores. If you sign up for a Daily Savings Club membership, you get a suet cylinder cage and a suet cylinder as a free sign-up gift.
Well, it's
So-
the best time to sign up.
I know, it's
Yeah.
a great opportunity. So stop in. We're fully staffed in all the stores, and everybody. We got seed going through the rafters, so
Yeah.
we should have enough of everything for you. Although we did run out of winter blend last week because we talked about it on the show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
people came in and
That-
kind of blew it out.
that
So
did
Got
it.
it back in now.
we got it back in now, so
Yeah.
we're good to go.
You know, I need to pick up some suet before I leave. We looked out this morning and had 2 flickers on our, and I'm ashamed to say this, empty suet feeder. But this is the perfect time to start assessing your backyard and realizing that there is cold weather coming probably Monday. So you want to make sure you have plenty of suet, plenty of things like bark butter bits, things that are high fat, high protein are going to help these birds survive cold winter nights. Because as we know, when there's healthful food available in feeders, birds double their chances of survival through a cold winter night. That study in University of Washington said that when chickadees have access to healthful food in bird feeders, they survive a cold winter night at a rate of 7 out of 10.
Wow.
When they don't, it's a rate of 3 out of 10. So you're more than doubling their chances of survival by just taking a little inventory and seeing if you have everything you need out there. And if you don't, it's the lowest prices of the season, so you want to stop into any of the 1, 2, 3 stores that have the metro area surrounded here.
That's right.
And pick up your bird food at a good price.
That is great advice.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a while, I can tell.
I have, yeah. Well, and it's just a good thing to do.
I have some bird news here. Amy, who is the certified bird feeding specialist down at the Denver store, sent me a little tweet about it says, "Hey Scott, something fun to talk about on Bird Talk. A lone juvenile sandhill crane has been hanging out at Belmar for a couple of weeks. So Belmar Park, and it was there Thursday. I haven't had an update since then, but I haven't looked for an update either, and I don't know. Maybe people can see that on Facebook Live. You know, if you zoom in, I swear it's a juvenile sandhill crane on there. So check it out.
Yeah, we'll post that picture on the Bird Talk Facebook page and the other Wild Birds pages as well, so you can take a closer look.
Very cool.
You bet. Now we've got a special going on with the Pizza Plaza. Is it next door to Wild Birds Unlimited of Denver?
Yeah, it's called Pizza Via.
Pizza
or Villa, I guess it would be in Italian, but yeah, Pizza Villa. So we have a new restaurant in town next to the Denver store, so encourage everybody to stop over. I think I've eaten there about a dozen times so
What do they
far.
serve?
They have mostly pizza.
Pizza.
But
Well,
they have pasta.
That makes sense.
They have some great salads.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the food there has been fantastic. So great opportunity
It's
to
an
try at a new
extensive
spot.
menu.
It
Yeah.
is. It's a very large menu. But
Very Italian.
stop in there, and by the way, we have a $2 off coupon at the Denver store. So stop in and grab some bird food, grab a coupon, and then stop in and grab some human food.
Yeah.
With a
fun.
coupon.
Heck
With
of
a
an
coupon.
idea.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
We have a couple comments on Facebook here. Hello, Kathy from West Cliff, Colorado.
The
And
beautiful Wet Mountain Valley.
I've never been there before.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Is it?
It really is, yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Kathy Haddon says she's seeing us on Facebook. Hey, Kathy. Nikki says she's seeing Juncos this week.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I heard some in my neighborhood not too long ago. I think it was last week. Yeah, just starting their little chipping behavior, their cute little song out there.
I have not seen any yet in our yard.
Yeah, and they are wonderful ground feeders. So that's why things like our No Mess DP work so well, because it's 30% white millet, and that's going to be the Juncos' favorite food.
Yep.
And so, yeah, good
Yeah.
way to, if you haven't seen them, that's always going to attract more of them.
And of course, when we say that a bird is a ground feeder, that means you want to use a platform or tray type feeder, or one that has a flat surface area that would simulate the ground. Of course, I don't like to throw out seed on the ground since their Wild Birds Unlimited has the no waste, no mess blends.
Yeah.
I don't like shells left over either. So for my Juncos, I'll use a little flat surface feeder, a little platform feeder that you can either put directly on the ground, a little table type, up on a deck railing, and the Juncos will adapt to all of that.
I don't like walking on simulated ground. It's scary for me. I like the regular old...
Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like to hear that.
Yeah.
His world is simulated now.
Technically, we're all in the Matrix, so you're already
right?
walking on it.
I think it's pretty much...
Or the metaverse, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we put some seed out last weekend, and the next morning we had a massive bull elk out in our yard.
Oh, neat.
Over by where we put the bird seed, but he's obviously eating other things, and Tina got a couple pictures, so I'll post those up as well. But we've
Very
got this
cool.
huge bull elk in our neighborhood that is just magnificent.
That was at the Wild Birds Unlimited deer feeder.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, the official one.
If
the
you'd like to
bear-proof
join
feeder.
us today, we're at 303-696-1971. That's the number to call, and let us know what's going on in your backyard wildlife habitat. Maybe you have questions about how to set up the best backyard winter environment for your birds. You know, I when I posted my announcement that we were retiring, we got the nicest letters from the nicest people just saying, you know, my life is so enriched by watching birds in the backyard, and it all started on my first visit to Wild Birds Unlimited. I got a bird feeder, and then I went back and I got the right kind of food for it. I got the right pole, and now, and they just, these wonderful people just posted all of these beautiful pictures that they have chronicled throughout the years, and just said, thank you, Wild Birds Unlimited. This has enriched our lives, and so yeah, stop in and heck, enrich your life.
Yeah, when we opened the Highlands Ranch store in November of last year, we obviously had a lot of people come from the Denver store and from other kind of surrounding stores, but we had a lot of net new people who had never really been exposed to birding before. And so it's been a lot of fun over the past year seeing those people kind of come back in and, you know, buy a pole system, but then get another type of feeder, or get a cylinder feeder or something, or get a bird bath, and just helping them kind of grow and build their backyard over time. This is a great hobby for that kind of thing. You can kind of do it as little or as much as you want. It's a lot of fun.
Now, we had a little thing on Bird Talk last week where we asked people to send in to let us know how far away from Denver they're listening to Bird Talk. We kind of call it farthest from the flock, and we had a contest winner, didn't we?
We did last week. We had a ton of people email us and message us on Facebook. The winner, though, if he's listening, was John A. from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
They have birds all the way up there in Canada.
A foreigner.
They do.
Yeah, foreigner.
That's pretty close to North America, isn't it?
Well, it's just on the northeastern tip.
They are North American, yes.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
But I think in his comment he said he wasn't listening on a heterodyne radio receiver. I didn't quite catch. I didn't look up what heterodyne means. You guys may know.
Scott may know.
But he said he was listening on the internet, and he thanked Al Gore for that wonderful miracle.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah.
So John, if you're listening, we're going to be sending you a Wild Birds Unlimited gift card. Obviously, we'll ship that up to Toronto, so come on our website and figure out what you want. We're going to run this contest again this week, so if you're listening on Facebook live now or on the radio, or if you're listening to the podcast through Wednesday of next week, send us an email at birdtalk@birdtalkguys.com, or send us a message on our Facebook page at BirdTalk Guys, and we'll do the same thing. Unfortunately, John can't win again, but so if you're closer in from Toronto, you still have a chance to win.
And we'd still love to hear from people who are not in North America who may be listening to the program, and we know we do have fans in Turkey and in other countries. However, we can't send them the card because there's no place for them to redeem it unless they're coming over to the U.S. Then they could certainly do that. But it's mainly for North American listeners.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
But let us know anyway.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
Love to hear from you.
Thanks for listening, John. You're a great supporter of Bird Talk, and hope things are going well up there in Toronto, eh?
That's right.
Your Canadian is exceptional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I listen to a couple of Canadians
It's a beauty
twice
way
a
to go.
week with the classes I'm taking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One's Australian Canadian, but
We've got
so you get
Jason. Jason is tuning
cool
in
accents.
from Lyman.
well, hey.
Yeah, that's a good 70, 80 miles from here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us.
And if you'd like to join us, 303-696-1971 is the number. We'd love to talk with you today. What else is going on? The bird food sale. Butterfly Pavilion has an event coming up.
Yeah, there are a couple of quick events coming up as we get ready for Halloween. Just to talk about the Raptor Education Foundation ID class that's coming up on November 12th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. They're going to help you identify raptors of all different kinds. They'll start in a classroom setting and show about 9 different raptors up close and personal.
Raptors are tough, so that's a good class to go to.
We have so many hawks that kind of fly in and around our area that everybody comes over and says, well, Dean, what's that one? And what's that one? And I just say red-tailed hawk most of the time. because they're not going to know.
I
right?
always say American white pelican. That's
That's
my
exactly.
go-to.
Sand crane. I'm going to start using
that
sand
works.
crane.
Yeah.
To see if
Sand
they
hill
catch it.
crane.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you
I
have,
know a couple of people that are going to take that class.
yeah, Tina
Yeah.
and I are going to take that class.
Oh.
We actually talked to Ann Price about it a couple weeks ago. So
Right.
super excited. If you want to register, go to usaref.org.
It is filling up.
It is filling up quickly. We also have a couple Halloween-related things. Ghosts in the Gardens at the Denver Botanic Gardens. That's Ghost in the Gardens at
Neat.
Denver Botanic. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the 29th. That's
Cool.
at botanicgardens.com. The Howl a Week Pet Parade, in case you want to dress up your dogs in a Halloween costume.
They'd love that.
That's down at Union Station. That's on October 23rd, which, if my calendar is right, that's tomorrow, from 1 to 3 p.m.
We put a costume on Winnie, our little dog, and she just looked up at us and said, "Kill me now."
Yeah, really.
We put
Is that what you think of me?
we put a rainbow and a unicorn costume on our dogs. They were not so much impressed.
No.
And then there's the Bugaboo Trick-or-Treating at the Butterfly Pavilion from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Coming up, I think, on the 23rd. I didn't put it on here, but you can check that out at butterflies.org for the Butterfly Pavilion. And if you look at events for this coming weekend, there's trick-or-treating indoor and outdoor at all kinds of venues. So
You know, Wild Birds Unlimited is
1 minute.
the best place to work in the Denver metro area, and we are looking for some new sales associates at two of the stores, Denver and Highlands Ranch.
yeah, full-time or part-time sales associates. You don't have to have a ton of birding knowledge.
No.
We'll help you train on that. Retail experience is always helpful and preferred, but again, this is a great environment to be in, and we have some wonderful training materials to get you up to speed. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the BirdTalk Guys Facebook page or go to birdtalkguys.com and look in the upper right-hand corner for the tag that says we're hiring, and that will take you to a link to apply. So
If you have a love of nature, it's the perfect job. You don't have to know your birds. We'll be able to teach you everything you need to know about attracting birds to your yard.
That's right.
You're listening to the Bird Talk Guys, Dean, Scott, and David on 710, 990. We'll be back after the break.
I think it's
Wild Birds
David, Dean, and Scott.
specialize in
Actually,
providing
if you're looking
quality bird
alphabetically,
foods that are
Only if
seasonal
you-
savvy. Being
only if
seasonally
you're
savvy
speaking.
means that you're tuned
Yeah.
into birds'
You were
seasonal
speaking.
nutrition.
You
No, you
are
speaking.
speaking
Your
it.
feeding program
whoever
to suit
speaks
the
it gets to
seasonal
decide what
behavior
order
of
it
I
birds.
see.
That's
Why
it.
we developed our Wild Birds Unlimited
Well,
Nesting
I don't know
Super
about
Blend.
that.
It's a super
It's what
boost
we've
of
always
protein
done.
and calcium.
Whoever's
just seems
speaking,
like-
they put their names first, but in honor of Dean being here, I put Dean
New
first.
feathers are made
Gotta
of
respect for me.
90% protein, so they need more protein right now.
Well,
if we gave
since,
you any more respect,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to get your ego through the
since
front
you're
door.
the one who respects you here, you should go ahead.
I think humility is overrated.
Well,
Humbly spoken.
it is optional.
At the southwest corner of University and
But we do have
County
double
Line
doors, so
and
if
Highlands
it gets too
Ranch,
big, you can
the
always go out
southeast
that.
corner of 88th and Wadsworth in Arvada,
We did
and
have
the
somebody
southeast
commenting
corner of
about
Wadsworth
seeing
and
a
Yale in Denver.
Nikki Prudian said, "Hi, I had the opportunity to watch a hawk, don't know which, chase and be chased by magpies a week ago. Went on for a half an hour. Fascinating."
Now, Brandon Percival, one of our good friends, says, I saw a brown creeper in my yard in Pueblo West last week, my 174th yard bird. Hopefully 175 comes soon. That's quite
Yeah, it's impressive.
That is
auspicious
impressive.
list.
And I
Yeah.
have to say, Brandon, I could never beat you on any yard birds except I beat you on the brown creeper. Had a brown creeper in my yard last year. So
Is that right?
That's the only time I'd be able to say that. I don't know if Brandon would remember, but I've birded with him a couple of times many moons ago.
Yeah, he's one of Colorado's premier birders.
You bet.
So yeah. And Lynn up in Fort Collins is tuned in today. Lynn and
American Family
Lauren are the Lauren. See,
yep.
I've been out of it for a month, and Lynn and Lauren are the owners of the Fort Collins store.
Good friends of us, yeah.
And we've got Theron from Broomfield on as well. Hi, Theron.
Or birds. Both the Tom
So maybe we'll
Walker
talk about bats
Agency at
next
American
segment?
Family Insurance
You
So
guys-
we can wave to all of them on our new Facebook account.
Yes.
Barbara says she had a couple of nurses hit her window this week, and is there a way to prevent it? And then she came back and said, birds, not nurses. But if they're nurses, they can kind of take care of themselves once they hit a window.
Yeah.
Birds, they need a little more of our help. And we will discuss that when we come back on the air, because I know there's a lot of folks out there that would
And
love
we
to hear the
have-
answer to that.
We have 2 people online.
That's 303
Excellent.
504
We have Janet
9605.
from Lakewood and David from Denver.
What a great name.
David has a lost bird, if anyone has
In
seen
West
him.
Denver, a Salem Media Group station.
Coming back.
Here we are coming on back, and your mic is hot starting
Bird Talk, Flock. David and Scott
now.
are here to answer your bird feeding and nature questions. Now, here are David and Scott on News Talk 710,
Well, it's-
KNUS.
David, Scott, and Dean today, and we have a couple of callers. If you'd like to join us today, we're at 303-696-1971. We're going to go talk to Janet out in Lakewood. Hi, Janet.
Hello, I had a bird identification question. This morning while I was feeding my blue jays, this bird came in who was all blue, about the same size as a blue jay, but no crest and no tail markings or wing markings. It was just all blue.
Well, that's a very good description of the pinion jay. So if he's the size of a jay, and he does have all that blue with no crest and no wing bars or anything, that's very likely a pinion jay. And we get to see them every once in a while in our area. They are Colorado birds. They tend to hang out more around Canyon City and that area down there, the southwestern portion of Colorado, even into the southeast, the extreme southern portion of Colorado. But, you know, they sometimes come up to Denver for to get the little dose of the big city lights up here. So that may be what you're seeing.
And a more common bird you want to check your field guide for is Woodhouse's scrub jay. It used to be called the western scrub jay. It looks very similar to the pinion jay, but it's a more common jay in our area. So you want to check that one out too.
Yeah, now the difference
do
between the
that.
Woodhouses and the pinion is the Woodhouse would not be all blue. He would have gray parts underneath, and he would have more markings on it.
So
But-
if you
but
see
it
him
could
from
be,
the back,
yeah.
you won't be able to tell that.
Well, this one I saw his front as well as his back.
Good.
And no markings.
Yep.
Just blue.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one to add to your list.
You
He's
bet.
been hanging around for 2 days now.
Well, you know, they love peanuts in the shell. And at the stores at Wild Birds Unlimited, we have raw and unsalted peanuts in the shell because it's not a good idea to offer more salt to birds. They have to drink more water, and as it gets drier toward the winter, that's harder for them to find. So it's best to have unsalted peanuts, and we like the raw peanuts because that's what you find under the
nature.
ground.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, very good. Thank you for sharing that with us, Janet. We appreciate it. And you have a wonderful day today. And if you'd like to join us, 303-696-1971. We're going to go talk to David from Denver. Hi, David.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Hey, we're doing well. Hey, that's a great name.
Oh, thanks.
Sure.
We're calling in. We have a Panama Amazon parrot that
Oh.
got loose and is now lost.
Aha.
So-
If you want to give Blake your phone number, Blake can pass that on to us, and if anybody comes into any of the 3 stores and lets us know they found one, we can certainly contact you on that.
That would be great because he's a beautiful bird and he flies and he talks and he's liable to fly on somebody's shoulder.
Yeah, you really get attached to them, don't
They're
you?
very-
They're a member of the family.
Very smart birds, too. Very smart birds. And what part of Denver are you in?
Central Denver, he left right around 12th and Julian.
Okay, so people in that area will keep an eye out. And, and we'll get the phone number to the stores. And if anyone has a sighting, they can give the store a call.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
That would be great because his name is Baby Jazz, and he's on Pet Connect.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
If somebody wants to look at him, they can see what he looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 10th and Julian where we lost him.
Okay.
All righty. Well, we'll see what we can do for you on that, David.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
And if you'd like to join us, 303-696-1971 is the number. We'd be happy to talk with you. We'd also be happy if you came in this weekend through next weekend and any of the days in between for the great big fall bird food sale, where you can get a discount on the best bird food to attract birds in Colorado at the Wild Birds Unlimited stores in Arvada, Denver, and Highlands Ranch.
Now, are we doing? You got
calendars.
your calendars in?
Yeah, we actually are doing the calendars too. So any purchase of $50 or more is going to get the Wild Birds Unlimited 12-month 2023 calendar for free.
That's good,
It's
because the
free.
2022 one is just about done.
It
Yeah.
is.
So it'll be
It's-
good to go to
we
that.
we discounted that one.
Had to
good,
move the
good.
numbers around.
That's right.
But this is free with a $50 or more purchase.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Okay.
That's right. And this is a very coveted calendar. We only get so many of them every year.
Yeah.
Really, because we can only get so many of them from the franchise every year. So
they go fast.
They go fast.
Yeah.
So stop in during this bird food sale and try to grab them. They'll be while supplies last, but we usually don't have them much beyond the sale.
Sure.
Right. So definitely do that. And if you're a Daily Savings Club member, and this is a perfect time to join, not only because you get an extra 5% off of sale prices during the sale, but you get 15% off bird food year round, and you get to earn bird bucks on all your purchases of merchandise in the store, and you can use those towards purchases of other merchandise in the store.
Yeah.
It's like it just keeps giving. It's Christmas early, really.
You know, you can.
The more you buy, the more you save.
You can actually get rich shopping here.
I guess so.
Not only spiritually, but monetarily to some
I
extent.
guess.
It just
Yeah.
makes you feel good.
Well, it does.
Yeah,
It does.
I like that part.
Absolutely.
And we, right before the break, we talked about wanting to hire either full-time or part-time, depending on the hours you have. And this is a good time to start out, although there's an extensive training program so that you can serve your customers. It's not just ringing the register and carrying bags of seed out for customers, but you'll be trained on actually how to match that customer's desire, that nature lover's desire, with the right products to create their backyard wildlife habitat. So it's a fun job. People enjoy talking with customers. You learn, the people that come in are interested in nature the same way that you are. So it's always enjoyable.
Yeah. Now, Barbara asked a question on Facebook, and she said she had a couple of birds hit her window. Is there something she can do? And yes, there is, Barbara. And usually what happens is a bird will be seeing all the way through the house because there's windows on the front and the back of the house. They'll see a reflection there, or frequently hawks will chase them into the windows. But we have wonderful solutions to that. We have things called window gems, and the window gems are they're an ultraviolet sticker you can put on your window. And the nice thing about it is they're not obtrusive. So you see through them beautifully as you're looking through your window, but since they're ultraviolet, birds see ultraviolet, so it makes your window look more like a neon sign. It gives them a real perception that there's something there, and you do greatly reduce window strikes because of that. And they come in all kinds of different patterns. There are birds, there are leaves, there are hummingbirds, lots of different patterns. Whatever you like, you can put up there. The other things you can do, you can turn on a light in the window that may reduce the reflection. You can put a window feeder on your window, a window bird feeder. And this gives them the perception that there's something there, so they are less likely to smash into the window. So there are quite a few things you can do to reduce window strikes, and I'm glad you're thinking about it because window strikes are one of the major menaces that birds face. They are resultant of a great deal of bird mortality, so having something like that can greatly reduce bird window strikes.
You bet. And we've got Mike from Boulder on the line. If you want to join us, 303-696-1971. Hello, Mike.
Hello. I was out hiking near El Dorado Springs mid-June, and I heard some birds, and I took out my fancy iPhone and recorded what they were, because I don't have any idea, and I thought, I know who I can call. Can I play these? And
You bet.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay, here they go.
Not hearing anything.
There it is. Huh. I'm thinking I'm hearing more than one.
Yeah, that last one was a chickadee before this one.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. There's about 20 seconds on my recording.
Okay. I think we heard a chickadee in there.
Okay.
But there was definitely more than one bird. Might have been a gray catbird in there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear much else. I just may have heard those two.
Okay.
5 seconds.
I'll look those birds up. Well, I know what the chickadee looks
All
like.
right.
Sure.
I think I know the catbird.
Well, we're going to a break. We'll be right back.
Sliced bread often receives accolades as
Sorry, fellas, I didn't know whether to tell you that we were going to break or not.
That's
fine.
okay. I'm watching the
He
clock
just
here.
dropped, but do you want me to call him back and try and get him back on?
No, we're good.
nice.
We're all right.
Fortunately, we've
So
discovered
as these
something that
birds come up,
rivals
I'm
the
just
greatness
posting
of
them on the
sliced
comment
bread
section of
and
the live feed,
cinnamon.
so we
Called
can
the
refer
Wild
people
Bird
to that,
Unlimited
so we can
Daily
listen to it.
Savings Club.
I can't come to a lot of meetings.
There are no
So I just
meetings
happened to listen to a
attend.
bunch of
When you join,
Junco
you
and
get
Bushtit
15%
calls
off the
over the
best
past few
prices
days.
on the world's
So everything I
best
hear, I'm
bird
like,
food all year
must
long.
be
Is
a
that a
Junco.
Junco?
And you're going to have tons of them up at your house, so you'll
Yeah.
have lots of them.
Bucks rewards points that
So
you
we
use
could talk
to
a little
save
bit
in the
about
store.
bird
We'll give
songs
you a
when
free
we come
gift
back,
just for
bird
joining.
calls.
So take a
Anything
back
else
seat
we need to
sliced
touch
bread.
on off
There's a new
the
best thing
schedule?
in town,
Just
and
bats.
it's only at Wild
Nothing
Birds
that
Unlimited
we haven't
in
already
Highlands
covered, but-
Ranch at the
Yeah,
southwest
we
corner
could-
of
we could
University
save
and County
bats for
Line
next
Road,
week.
in Arvada at the southeast corner of 88th
Whatever we
and
have time for.
Wadsworth, and in Denver at the southeast corner
Winter
of
blend,
Wadsworth
we
and
should
Yale.
probably talk about
Yeah.
too,
I'm
just to cover
so
that.
hungry. You know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I once killed a guy.
I
in a
really
bar
like
fight.
these window gems more than the
That's
last
not
ones that we
true.
had.
I do
know it's
too.
not. That's why
I
a lot
just-
of people
they're-
don't
I
know
think they're
that
much
about
more
me.
vibrant
One
and-
thing
Yeah,
they
I
do
hadn't
know,
heard
though,
of
is
them.
I
Yeah.
love hummingbirds.
Yeah, I
Who
think we
doesn't?
went through
I
2 or
do.
3 orders
The
of
best
them.
way to attract
Pretty good
them
sized
is with
orders pretty
timing,
quickly.
Yeah.
freshness,
Plus
and
they come with
visibility.
7 or
Put your
9 in a
feeders
pack,
out
so
in
they're
mid-April and keep the
cost
nectar
effective.
fresh, and keep the feeders visible.
In odd
That's right.
numbers
Increase
instead
the
of
odds
even.
having these
Yeah.
little jewels
I'm still
of the
getting
sky
SMGs.
visiting by using our lifetime guaranteed
The customer,
Oh, really?
yeah.
On the red tail?
hummingbird feeders and nectar
Huh?
mix.
Yeah.
Add some
Yeah.
Hummer attractive plants
Yeah,
and create
I
a
just
hummingbird oasis.
emailed
Hummingbirds are coming,
Sarah.
so get
Okay.
prepared today.
and asked her
at the
just to
southeast
check in all
corner
the
of Wadsworth
departments
and
and
Yale and
get
Denver,
that
the
all
southwest
forwarded to
corner
you.
of University
Had a really
and
nice
County
one on
Line and
Stephen
Highlands Ranch, and the
just
southeast
yesterday.
corner of 88th and Wadsworth and
Somebody
Arvada.
said, you know, just loved working with Stephen and no problems at all, but I'm getting quite a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, coming back.
None about me.
Now, back to Bird Talk.
They send them to a
News
different
Talk
email address.
710,
I'm kind of a
KNUS.
jerk.
All right, fellas, your mic is hot starting now.
Welcome back to Bird Talk, and we were talking to Mike about some bird calls and songs, and the thing is, birds will be vocal at different times of year. Now, a lot of birds are making some noise right now because they think springtime is coming. Often, bird songs and courtship activity is stimulated by the daylight length, and the daylight length in the fall is the same as it is in the spring, except in the fall it diminishes as time goes on, and in the spring it increases. So a lot of birds that are making noise, singing songs, doing things like that right now are going to become quieter and quieter as time goes on because they realize, hey, it's not spring after all.
Yeah, days are getting shorter. Typically, they're 24 hours. But, they're much shorter now that it's winter.
That's why I always say daylight hours.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the case, and birds will sing for a variety of reasons, to set up territories, to attract mates, and it can be difficult. We are so visual that it can be difficult to learn bird songs. I usually would learn 5 new songs in the spring and then forget 4 of them over the winter. So being very visual, it is harder to learn the songs. Now musicians do a lot better job with it. People that are very sound or now if you want to have a source that shows you bird songs of different birds, you can go to allaboutbirds.org, and Cornell Lab of Ornithology has that website up, and you can type in the bird that you want to hear the song of. It'll have a description of the bird, its nesting habits, all sorts of stuff, and then you can also play some of the songs that are there. There's also apps that you can add to your phones, your smartphones, and be able to have the songs there.
That's right.
Yeah, All About Birds is a great resource because it tells you an overview of where you'd see them, where they nest, how they migrate. Also gives you a ton of pictures. So if it's easier to start to identify if you see the birds from a lot of different angles. Sometimes in a book, books are great for references when you're out in the field. Sometimes it's easier if you can see them from a 360-degree view.
Right. One of the differences between software and books is that a book allows you to thumb through quite a few birds pretty quickly, where if you don't know what the bird is, you go to the software and you got to know what the name is, or else a name of a similar looking bird. So those can be differences too. However, where books really fall down is when you want to listen to that song. Boy, it's just silent through one of the field guides. But Wild Birds Unlimited has a great selection of field guides where you can carry those into the field or put it beside the window where you watch your bird feeders and be able to look up that bird quickly. We talked about winter blend last week, and our description of it was so good that the stores ran out. But now we have it back in stock.
Yeah, I actually think the winter blend got legs and ran out the store because later that afternoon I was in Denver. The shelf was completely empty and we had none in the back room. So your sales pitch must have worked perfectly, Scott. Well done. But we're back in stock now, so if you're looking for that winter blend, you can stop into any of the 3 stores. And if we do run out on things, we can always take your name and number and call you when we get it back in. We are constantly getting product in every week, and so we're usually not out of things for very long.
Yeah, the winter blend is so high in fat and protein, and that's so important for birds, especially right now. Birds are molting, and they're putting on their winter feathers. They're getting a little more cryptic so they don't stick out like sore thumbs when there aren't any leaves on the trees. They don't want to be hawk bait, so they're not as brilliant. They're putting on those new feathers, and feathers are 90% protein. So birds need a lot of protein in their diet to build those feathers so that they'll stay nice and warm throughout the winter. And of course, fat is essential to survival. I've been storing it up for 60 some odd years now, and I don't intend on getting rid of any of it. But birds, they tend to get rid of it as soon as they put it on. So
you must be a survivalist then.
Yeah, that must be it. But anyway, birds burn it off as fast as they take it on, pretty much.
Because they can fly.
Yeah.
If we could fly,
we'd
all
look like David if we
we'd
could
be
fly.
svelte.
Right.
We'd look like a bird.
So just a question, do all birds molt?
Oh yeah, but at different rates. For example, geese will molt and they'll molt all their flight feathers so they won't be able to fly for a period of time.
Really?
Where songbirds will molt those flight feathers little by little so that they'll still be able to fly and escape from predators.
Some birds will molt once per year, some will molt twice per year. So, yeah, it just depends on the species.
That's also why an illustration in a field guide or in software may not look exactly like the bird that you're seeing, because the bird that you're seeing can be right before molt, where its feathers are worn out and the colors aren't as bright, or right after molt, where they're the brightest and sharpest looking feathers.
And it is fascinating. Some birds, like the blue grosbeak, they put on their spring feathers, which have very sharp prismatic construction. So they absorb all the colors except for blue, which they refract. But as time goes on, those edges wear down and they're no longer a bright blue bird. They actually change their coloration by having feather wear. And then they, again, replace those feathers again in the spring.
And when do the males want to look their best with their bright, shiny feathers?
Yeah,
when they're looking for a date.
That's
They're
right.
Trying to attract a mate.
That's right.
Does that explain your guys' flannel today?
This is not flannel.
I have my
That's
mate.
not flannel. Flannel is a fabric, not a design. These are
Okay.
plaid.
Yeah. Plaid, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
I've already attracted mine, and
yes.
And one woman makes me as happy as I deserve to be in this world. So I'm going to just stick with that.
I think we kind of talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
I think around somebody's birthday, I think.
Yeah, it was, definitely. If you'd like to join us, the number's 303-696-1971. You would be able to stop this insanity and interject your own.
Which is always fun.
Yeah. Now, Butterfly Pavilion has a Halloween thing going on, too. Did we mention that?
We mentioned it already.
We did.
But,
Let's mention it again.
Well, you should pay attention,
I didn't put
Scott.
a check mark by it.
Were you here?
He went to the restroom.
I was here.
Are your ears painted on? Is that what's going on here?
I think you imagined that you talked about this.
No, I'm pretty sure I covered it. Because David said he was going to go himself.
That's right.
He just didn't say what his costume was going to be.
I'm going to dress as a larva.
By the way, did you guys?
Speaking of which, yeah.
Did you guys see the article I sent you about
Yes.
people serving the mealworm pizza?
Yes.
That was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it's another stupid idea from people who want us to eat insects. The human digestive system has not evolved to digest insects. Our digestive system cannot digest chitin, which makes up the abdomens of insects.
I didn't know
so, what I imagine will happen, based on my medical training, is that
this is not medical advice, by the way. But go ahead.
No, it's not advice. No, I was a dentist, not a doctor. Although we took the same courses for the first 2 years that the med students did. But anyway, I imagine what chitin will do is it'll lodge in your
stomach somewhere, right?
In your intestines, either your appendix, or it'll lodge in and give you diverticulitis, something like that.
Yeah, kind of like beef jerky.
Yeah, so don't eat insects. And the other thing about mealworms, you remember Fear Factor?
Yeah.
They would buy mealworms and they'd put some young woman in a casket full of mealworms to see how long she could stay in there. It's one of the reasons I just don't like Joe Rogan. But they bought so many mealworms for their shows that we ran out of mealworms to sell in our stores.
Just because they were making vats of them. Vats and vats of mealworms.
Yeah.
Right?
They were buying vats and vats. Yeah.
That's interesting. So
it was.
We were talking with some other store owners a few weeks ago, and they mentioned that people can get allergic to mealworms, to the larva, which is I hadn't heard that before.
Stop eating them.
They weren't eating them; they were just handling them.
Well, you can, and you can also get things like salmonellosis, salmonella from handling critters like that. That's why we say don't handle wildlife.
Yeah.
No wildlife should be handled. I hate it when they go to places and they start putting cockroaches or tarantulas in kids' hands.
Or snakes.
Because they're teaching them to handle wildlife.
Yeah.
And that's, unless the wildlife is really used to it, that's terrifying for wildlife. We're going to talk about bats next week, but people talk about how dangerous bats are. Well, the only reason bats are dangerous is when people pick them up off the ground. That's the only incidents where people get injured by bats.
So here you have a giant handling a small animal, whether it's a snake or even small mammals, things like that, wild mammals. It's a bad idea. Not only that, it spreads disease to the kids it's just
if you'd
bad
like
idea.
if you'd like a pizza that's not made out of mealworms but made out of the more traditional stuff, you could always visit the Pizza Villa down by the Denver store.
I understand they serve pizza there.
They do all kinds of
without
pizza.
mealworms.
No mealworms. The
No,
traditional pepperoni,
just the good stuff.
cheese, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the good
I
stuff.
watched the Great British Bake Off yesterday, the newest edition, and they were putting crickets in food, and they were trying to put forth the proposition that in the future, insects will be a staple of our diet.
No. Soylent Green, maybe, but not.
I can tell you it's not
crickets.
not going to be in my future.
Well, when we were down in Mexico several months ago, just for a vacation, we went to this kind of chef's dinner thing, and they paired a bunch of wines with each course, and I'd say half the courses were some kind of insect, and they were made very, it was kind of a gourmet type approach.
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't tell you what you were eating until you had already chomped on it, so you could tell by then. But I wouldn't probably add it to my diet on a regular basis.
No, bad idea.
Bad idea.
Now, Scott did eat a stink bug when he was about 2 years old.
It wasn't part of the plan, though.
No, he didn't. He just didn't know any better.
Had his head out the window again.
I saw a Jeffrey Dahmer meme that said, "Don't worry, if we run out of food, we will always have each other."
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun to be back on the show, and I think you might have me back next week.
I think so. Well, this is a trial run. We'll see if we can bring it back.
I hope I passed the audition.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we're glad you joined us today. So thank you, Facebook friends, and all you friends out there in radio and streaming land. You're listening to the Backyard Bird Feeding Specialist. Stop in for the best prices of the season. And until next week, we want to wish you all happy birding.
You're clear.
Thank you, Facebook friends.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend.
See you next week.
Yeah, fellas, do you want to hold on for a second?
Sure.
Okay.
So we have a question from Sherry. Do you think you can answer that?
Sure.
Ones.
Let me try and patch her over.
Okay.
Business too. So when it comes to marketing your business and getting new customers, we know how to do it. Our digital marketing firm, Salem Surround,
We're still
is
on
built
Facebook,
to
just
create
to let you know,
customized
so-
solutions
okay.
to your business, not your
So keep it
competitors.
clean?
Keep it
Just
clean.
You. Reach out to us at salemsurround.com and we'll work
coulda
with you
swore
to
that
create
was flannel
those
from
solutions
here.
that
This
will
was,
increase
you're
your
right, it's
business
just
and
flannel.
bring you
Just
new
cotton.
customers.
About a hummingbird.
salemsurround.com.
It's just cotton.
This is Molly Hemingway. In
Your shirt.
2020,
What about
millions
it?
of
I thought it
Americans
was flannel from
experienced
here.
No, that's a
the
fabric.
election of
I
their
know,
lives.
but I
That's
thought
why
it
I wrote
was
the book
flannel
Rigged,
fabric.
How big
No.
tech, the media, and Democrats seized
My eyes are
our
broken.
election.
There's a
I wrote about
custom
Mark
made
Zuckerberg's
shirt,
efforts
actually.
to take over election
Wow.
operations in key states.
Fancy.
How the
Yeah.
coronavirus was
Mine's
used to force
machine
election
made.
laws designed explicitly to help
I got my
Democrat
gear at
party.
the Wild Bird
And
store.
much more
Mine's made by a Vietnamese woman.
How the media,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Custom made?
As a matter of fact,
Mine is probably made by a Chinese sweatshop.
and it has it has my name
Hi,
in
this is
it.
Deborah Flora.
Wow.
Join me
Is
weekday
that so you know
afternoons
that it's
from
you
3 to
when you
4
pick it up?
on
Yeah,
News
it's
Talk
when I go to
10
camp.
US. Denver's
So, Blake, were you able to patch her through?
I wasn't able to patch her through, but she's still on the phone, and she's just wondering. She has a hummingbird in her backyard in Genesee, and she's wondering how she can keep that little puppy alive.
All she can do is continue to provide that nectar solution for that hummingbird. It's probably not going to make the trip this year, but it might still make the trip. So tell her to keep her feeders fresh and full until she doesn't see it for about 2 weeks, and then she can take them down.
And if it's still there next week, call in to Bird Talk earlier.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks,
Next
Blake.
week.
Take care.
Rock and roll.
See ya.
All right.
See you, Facebook.